Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about my Tinder experience part 2. So I've been trying Tinder for quite a while. I started playing with Tinder 2 weeks ago. I'm still using the free version. This will be the table of contents we'll discuss today. Yung mga marketing campaign na tinry ko, medyo weird no kasi sariling marketing campaign mo at ikaw mismo yung binibenta mo. Also gonna talk about what I discovered about myself. The more I got to know myself, so this is more of trying to understand like what do I really want. Very enlightening because of the pace of the people I meet. I get very different insights. There's even this one girl, she was very young, but she was very verbal. But she was smart, she has good potential. We're gonna talk about single moms, we're gonna talk about entrepreneurial types and career women, networks, existing friends, sexual conversations, sex as a subject, lists, the way I shortlist people, mga nag-applicant, no? Preset questions, tsaka may mga personality tests. Yeah, that's good. Going through my checklist and experience. Checklist is one of my approaches din sa marketing campaigns ko, which I'll explain that in a bit. What I feel so far from using this at saka yung mga conclusions ko. So let's go through my marketing campaign. I initially thought that it would be better na screen out na lahat ng hindi ko gusto by putting that in my bio. My first marketing campaign was put all non-negotiables and make sure na walang mag-reach out sa akin na hindi ko kailangan. That made the search really boring. And naubos ko agad yung mga swipes ko and so parang feeling ko medyo pangit na gawin yon. Also, I didn't get a lot of conversations started. Think about that kasi if you are the person na sobrang gwapo mo or sobrang ganda mo, that you have a lot of options. I think that might be a viable option. I don't think I fall in that category, so I changed my approach. So that's when I decided, okay, what marketing campaign can I do? Kasi siyempre when I changed my marketing campaign cannot be there to see if I can observe it if it's growing. So in my second marketing campaign, make it simple, not that complicated, at more allowing yung bio ko. I put my information out there so that people can reach out to me and check me out now before, and then they would have the liberty to decide. And I think this is a good approach kasi the more people have information there, the less time the searcher, it would be easier for them to decide na, is this someone I want to get to know better. Third marketing approach, maybe I'll just do a picture only. This was something I saw people do, which I don't like kasi parang hindi enough for me to make a decision from that. And then sometimes may mga picture na hindi tao. Sometimes parang picture ng aso or something like that. Huwag nyo na gawin yun. Nagsasayang lang oras. There's still that thing with the motive that some people just want to have somebody to talk to. Kung ganun lang din, I just close it. I suppose some people are afraid to put it out there, no? Pero it's up to them. They're not ready, they're not. There's a demand, there's a time limit. Some people have time. It's up to them, really. Fourth probably is I wanted to try something a little bit naughty as a comment. I think I'm appealing to people here that are like focused on naughty stuff, pero I make them realize, oh, these guys have fun to talk to, no? I'm not expecting a lot from here, but I think it's something I do want to try, kahit hindi ako ganun that much. Then number 5 is a personality fun approach, which could be a melding of how I evolved at that point. Yun yung mga naisip ko marketing campaign 3, 4, 5. Right now, I'm at number 2. What wound up happening, meron akong list ng non-negotiables ko. Instead of putting that up front, I enable the funnel to be wider at the top where I make my bio a little bit more fun and easily digestible. And then yung checklist, what I do, I use that to sort conversation. Okay? We'll talk about that a little bit later. How I screen and how you use conversation. Kasi medyo advanced, I think, yung approach ko when it comes to conversation pag-filter out. So yung 5 marketing campaigns ko, let's go to the next one. There are a couple of things that I found now. So this is my perspective so far. My thoughts on what I learned about myself. Pag wala masyadong goals or I don't see any travel, I think that's a turn off sa akin. Number 2, wala masyadong laman yung photos. Like puro mukha lang or puro dibdib lang or puro pet lang, no? Or puro beach lang. I don't see a story. I think that's very important for me. That makes me curious na, okay, I want to learn more about this person. And yun nga, one picture lang or na, okay, hindi siya verified. Being verified is very important. For me, there are some people that I like just because they are verified. Kasi parang I'm more curious about this person. I'm willing to spend like maybe 15 minutes talking to this person to see. Walang depth sa bio. I actually read bios a lot. Sometimes mapapansin mo yung iba, puro like social handles lang nila. There are 2 reasons. One, the major na nakita ko, they just want to move to another platform kasi they're not regularly on Tinder. which I understand kasi ayoko din nakipag-usap sa Tinder kasi walang like, pictures and things like that. Very incapacitating yung features niya in terms of collaboration. Yung conversation. And then, kailangan nakabukas yung location mo palagi. And then the other one is, yung ibang mga marketers lang talaga. And may nagsascam nga sa akin. I'll leave a picture here, no? Sabi, nanghingi ng pera pang 6'6" na. Another thing, no? Hindi ko nakita ang umiti. I think this is very important, not just with interviews or profile pictures. It's a big turn-off sa akin if I see that person's eyes are sad or they're not even smiling at even one of their photos. I think that's a bad sign for me because I want my partner to be happy. Something na parang napansin ko sa akin subconsciously is there are professions that I don't like at a particular age. So for example, age ganito and ganito pa rin yung trabaho niya. That's something na may be questionable sa akin and I automatically just don't. I'm just gonna be biased and there are some more naughtier jobs that I'd rather the person I'm going to be a partner with, I'd rather they not be on that industry. Sa akin, medyo a bit off sa akin yun. So, I just decline. Hindi explicitly nakalagay na they're looking for a long-term relationship. There is a story or sometimes hindi kompleto. Depende which one is more important while I'm assessing the profile. Sometimes kapag hindi na I'm looking for a serious relationship or something like that, sometimes I decide, huwag na lang. It's just looking here for fun. Or if they just say, just looking for something casual or looking for just people to talk to, okay, no. For me, ganun. Of course, I made some exceptions because some people are like, oh, this person is interesting. I want to talk. Another thing is quality ng photo. Sa akin, very important, visuals. I want to remember then, okay, I saw this pretty face online and that's how it started. I think people who don't put an effort towards that or do not have the capability to do that is something na, but for me, medyo it's a sign, it's a bad sign for me. Too much tattoo. So for me, there was this book that told me about this temple. I feel like dugo will become dirty to some degree kapag sobra. I'm not saying these are bad people. I'm just saying that it's not something I prefer. I don't have tattoos or things like that. Carry me or pabuhat, comment sa may bio. Parang, women should be treated like this. Or yung parang may mga default behaviors, I think is a sign of hindi ready yung tao. Or hindi pa ganun ka-mature to be able to resolve issues. So usually I just disregard those types of people. Pagka walang comments. So there's several, there are a lot of people who don't put anything on their bio. Or they just put their song and couple of fancy pictures but there's nothing on their bios. Mahirap sa ganun, no? Kasi sometimes, okay, she looks pretty. Am I going to want to? So in some cases, I want to know this person. In some cases, I would just think about it like, can I imagine myself with her based on the picture? It doesn't do good service to the person putting something like that. Tas hindi pa verified, tas hindi pa valid yung photo. So in those cases, I just, okay, don't waste my time. You're not ready, you're not actively looking. For them to be actively looking enough would be a good measure for me. So that's what I have concluded in general, besides those other points we'll discuss with other subjects. Next. Let's go through what I thought about where I see nagka-clump out yung mga nakakausap ko. So generally, there are two types of people that I really wanted. So the first one is what I set myself out to do, which is I want somebody who's successful to some degree, at least manager, assistant manager level. Meron akong cut-off na at least ganito yung net worth niya, at least kasabay ko or greater. That's one of the groups. We'll talk about them in a bit under career women and entrepreneur women. And then the other one is there are really some nice people I meet online. It's so weird kasi the only people I keep talking to were people na I had some sort of common friend. Yung common friends ko din kasi yun mababait, matitino. So I wanted to foster that same value to progress towards my network. So I felt like, okay, I will still talk to this person. Okay? And then sobrang ka-jive nila kausap, sobrang kulit, parang natural lang at parang kaibigan lang. I still talk to them. I feel like that was very entertaining for me, not just for the pure fact of entertain, but it's also enlightening to talk to some stranger na in a decent way. Although mas madami ka talaga makitang medyo loko, no? Let's talk about the second set. I see a lot of single moms on the platform. Some of them have actively decided that, which is great because these women know what they want. I'll be honest about this because in terms of single moms, I've never really explored that. I don't know how to navigate that terrain or how that would feel like. So it's just at the back of my head. My eyes became open because I felt like some of them were like really wonderful people. So sabi ko, interesting. Masarap kausap. It is a big factor for me. Talking about the deed. Conversations that are a bit sexual in nature. I would often hear single moms talk about, I shouldn't talk about this like this way because I have a son or a daughter. Because I feel like everybody should be respected regardless. So, ladies, you still deserve respect. You should still have your preferences around sexual activity. The other topic, entrepreneurial women or career women. The first set, people na older and may mga nakausap ako, we'll call them Crystal and French. Si Crystal is a French. I really enjoy talking to them. They can go into depth with me in a conversation. They don't tease me or they say na, you know, you're talking too much English. It's just me. I just default to English talaga. And that's how I process complex ideas and complicated situations. I'm better able to express myself that way. And I feel like it's important na that should be normal between me and my partner. Ayoko yung kausap ko biglang nagdudugo yung ilong habang nag... it's such a... I don't know. It's important for me. These types of women, si French and Crystal, are like I really enjoy talking to. Pero honestly, nahihiya ako silang kausapin minsan, and I feel like they're too busy with their own business or, you know, doing their jobs. I feel like sometimes hindi din ako deserving. You know, one specifically asked me for consistency. Should I exert myself, you know, to prove myself to her, pero she doesn't make herself available? I'm still torn. Actually, I haven't reached out to her today. Or maybe I did earlier. Oh my God, my eyes too. Ilang hours lang ang tulog ko. They're smart, they're busy people. I like them. I probably will still look up to them in the future just because of their accomplishments. I obviously believe that they're wonderful people now based on what they do and how they do it and how they execute, how they're able to explain themselves. The other one probably will not watch it. She doesn't even have social media, which is a bit weird. Let's go back to career women. One of the personas that I'm expecting my partner to be is a career woman, somebody who's successful, somebody who is financially stable, who knows what she wants, she gets it. There's some fine line here that this is how I see it. I would probably need to drag this career woman and say, okay, hey, you like the emotions with me. The world would be a better place if there are more people like you. Make me babies. No. Tell them, hey, stop. You deserve some time because in the future, you will need kids too. It would be fun. That is a thing. Most of the career women na tinatanong ko, I asked them, you know, what is it that you look for? Where do you look for? It's simple answer. Initially, I thought nasa LinkedIn sila, but in the end, I found out that they aren't really there. The most I see were the entrepreneur types that were on Instagram, pero they aren't actively looking, and if you ask them, they would always say, I don't have time. Especially this other one, I'll call her Jubilant, no? Like, I really look up to her. Hindi ko siya makausap ng maayos. I know I can add value to her, but I don't know if she perceives me as that to begin with. I'm scared to even try. I feel like it's more comfortable for me to start that with a stranger than somebody that is an existing friend. That's what goes through a guy's mind. Another thing is you need to be able to convince them from their mindset that work. I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon. It's also the same thing that attracts me that is repelling relationships. There was also this thing that was raised by my friend yesterday about EQ, IQ. She said na may trade-off daw ang EQ, IQ. My mindset is magkaiba sila. You can have the best of both worlds. But she was saying, you know, you're more of this type of person, so you need somebody of this type of person. And I think some people believe that there should be a trade-off. I believe there are some people na EQ, high IQ na I could find, but would they be in Tinder really? I'm not really sure. Some of them also have a different mindset. So if they're on Tinder just to advertise, they probably will not see that marketing channel. Like this one, no, si Steph. I tried to reach out to her, but she has not responded at all with any channels. Either she's busy or I'm not too appealing to her or whatever. Existing friends. This crossed my mind several times. When I was talking to my friends, I realized the person I'm looking for is somebody like you, but it just never crossed my mind. I think there's an opportunity for females to take advantage of this, to see, you know, maybe there's somebody in my circle na ganito. Kasi it was so eye-opening sa akin kasi I had to ask common friend, you're a career woman, where do you typically look for a guy? And of course, the response was, I don't have time for that. I think they need somebody that appeals to them and that would grab them and tell them, okay, it's time to start a family or something like that. No? And then they can go back to whatever they want to do. Because I also feel like there's something that the person should be doing. My love language is not exactly time. It just has to be reminded. There are only certain times that I need it. But ayoko yung too much. There should be some difference so that we would still be talking about some other stuff that's happening with my life and her life. There's some contrast, diba? Pag walang contrast, parang medyo boring eh. Sex as a subject. I found it weird. There were two females that I'm getting this feeling. One of them started that conversation about sexual activity. And I'm comfortable talking about it, pero I was surprised that this was raised by a female. Although I have nothing against it. I think at this point in time, it's not normal. But I've seen some of my female friends talk about it and that they initiated the conversation or they started this. Hindi lang sila nagbigay ng sign or nagbigay silang indecent proposal. Kasi even if you did something that crazy to a guy, like if a guy tells the other people, then, you know, some people would not even believe something like that. When we had this conversation, some of them were not comfortable. And then yeah, in some cases, they were telling me, oh, this happened to me, sad. And then the other ones were like really driving the conversation, which was expected sa akin. So some of the nag-open sa akin ito. I'm still not comfortable talking about it because I'm a hypochondriac. I only do the deed with somebody na I trust to some degree. Yeah, in my life, there probably are a couple of exceptions. Siguro ako, I don't like playing with dirt, no? Yeah. So, be careful then. Non-negotiable checklists. This is my mantra then. Ever since I started having relationships, looking for people and partners, I wanted to know where I can place them and put them neatly. So, every time I get in and out of a relationship, I assess myself, like, what are the things I needed to do or make improvements on? What are the missed opportunities and improve on them? One of the things I noticed is there are things that I should have in a partner. For example, sa akin, number one and very important is the person should have aspirations or something to look forward to. Kasi ako, if that someone doesn't want anything in life, nawawalan akong respeto eventually. I had an ex na ganon. I felt like I wanted somebody na I could look up to and somebody who's constantly evolving. That's why may topic tayo about career women and entrepreneur types. So I have a list of non-negotiables and I think a lot of people I've spoken to are not aware of what they're looking for. Some people would say, gusto ko ng partner and I want a long-term relationship, but they do not know what they're looking for. An example of this is some people who are asking for coaching for financial literacy, they would say, no, I want to be rich, but what do they mean by, being rich? For me, being rich is freedom. I'm not beholden by time or doing anything else. I just want my money to work for me or have something passive in the background and I have the liberty to do what I want. And I'm safe and I don't worry about where to live, what to eat for me. But some people might not think about it this way and that could be true also of my potential partner. For me, it does help kasi I have this list and I extract it from the conversation and this helps out screen out faster. For example, religion is very important for you. Kailangan INC din siya or kailangan Roman Catholic siya or kailangan Muslim din siya, no? So it's up to you. Some people are very flexible with that. It's just maganda na may awareness ka what is negotiable and non-negotiable. For some people, religion is a very important topic but negotiable. And then you have to talk about like kids. What religion do you want your kids to have? Is that something? They should be this. Let them choose or something like that. If you know what you are with most facets of life, most major important facets of your life, it's easier to search for someone kasi that other person from the very beginning na set ng expectation na this is something that is important to me. And of course, there are things that change along the relationship then. Having a list, very important. This part, we'll talk about preset questions. One of the things that made the conversations fun was jumping into a call really quickly and having a set conversation and your non-negotiables. I go through my checklist and I have an Excel na nakasulat ko kung sino yung mga pumasa o hindi. So these conversations, I ask in a more normal way. So, for example, how they resolve issues is very important for me. Instead of explicitly asking that, I would coax it or use wit, jokes, asking about the past to see how they would react to it. So for example, what was the last biggest fight you had? How did you resolve it? How did your parents resolve issues? Do they talk about it? How they respond to that tells me their level of awareness of their ability to communicate and resolve issues. That's another non-negotiable for me. If the person is not able to communicate properly their ideas, nakakapag-explain sila and resolve issues. And how do we remedy the situation? Having a list of non-negotiables is also 50-50 for me because if you are very desirable, then you have the ability to screen out people. So ako, I feel like I'm not that desirable. Dapat mas forgiving yung process ko because I'm not that Chad. So if you're not desirable, having the screen up front from the very beginning might be too intimidating. That's why wala ka masyadong kausap ng first week. Sometimes I feel like some people are not able to demonstrate themselves well or not able to communicate the idea well na I would have to exfiltrate the information through coaxing or wit or jokes or asking their past. I think just people get emotional when you ask them, especially it's about that particular topic. Pero you might see some situations that they have resolved it properly. Personality tests are really good for me because one of the best conversations I had was with a single mom. She was always smiling, she's happy, and masaya siya kausap really. One of the most memorable parts in our conversation was was, I had her go through the quizzes. Not only was she game, siguro na-set ko din yung tone, or she was also receptive at that time. We were gonna go through, these questions, and I made it like a game show. Sabi ko pa na parang, searchy number 1. Yeah, so parang, and ask her these questions. Here are some tests that are very important for me. Number 1, love languages. Love languages for me is something I've been using nung tatrabaho na ako, no? Sometimes pag nakita ko, dami niyang gamit, sige, baka gift ang sa kanya. Or, I give them... Yes, Chi. Sure. I was shooting it. So, love languages, be careful. Magkaiba ang love language ng receiving tsaka gifting, but it's something I've been using sa mga employees ko. If I see some of my employees have a lot of stuff or they appreciate na may plaque sila, that's how you reward them. Some employees gusto nilang ina-announce sa town hall. Or sometimes gusto nila ng pat on the back, no? Pero medyo delikado yung sa lalaki. Parang that's like a lawsuit waiting to happen. Sometimes people would appreciate na you do something for them. Ay, ginawa ko ng report mo para sa'yo. No? Take the weekend off, something like that. No? Depende, ganun. And laging na-customize yan. Ako kasi medyo minimalist ako. No? There's nothing you can give me physically that will ever make me happy. There's no tangible object that you can give me na, wow, I'm really happy about this. I'm gonna keep this forever, Hindi ako ganun. It's more of the memories that are attached to them, that are emotional attachments that are more important than the object itself. That's a good test. The other one is, for fun, no? I had this test called Tibition Personality Test. Just look it up. I'll leave a link in the description. It will tell you, ano yung priorities mo, how you think about life. Spirit Animal Test. This is more of a fun in-between tests ko. I think, what am I? A wolf. I'm a wolf or a snake. Something like that. I forgot. Or an elephant. Something like that. 16 personality tests. Yung mga INPJ, ESTP, INTJ. Yan yung mga ganyan. Maganda din yan. If you go to that site, meron din yung mga types of professions na magiging successful sila. So, maganda din pag-usapan yun. Will make the search a lot happier. There's this other test. I forgot what it's called. But one of the ways it was explained sa akin, I'm the type of person na hindi nagpapanik. So, for example, may nasaksak, parang titingnan, uy, may nasaksak. There was a time na parang sinusunog ako ng mga 15 minutes na parang hindi ako nagpapanik. Mga melancholic, sanguine, I don't know, don't remember what it's called, but if I find it, I'll put it in the description. I think I'm interested in doing that again, no? Hindi din ako squeamish sa dugo, no? Just for some reason, kapag nakita ko ng dugo, even if mine, I remember one of my major surgeries, sabi ko doon sa doctor, hey, I want to see my internal organs, I want to see. I'm curious. I'm a naturally curious person, so we go, hey, can I watch? But some people are very squeamish with blood. Those are things that you typically want to ask. Final summary for me is, I feel like there are so many connections, so many better ways to do them. I'm still split on if I should have screened from the very beginning. Some of the conversations feel a bit hollow, and I dismiss them clearly. There are some standout people, and it is possible to look for great networks here, just from the dating app. Would I still recommend going through the process? Yes, definitely. Just the mere fact that you're knowing yourself a lot better makes a big difference. Thank you guys for watching. Paubos na yung battery ko. May delivery na din. I hope this was helpful. Watch out for the next part. We'll also try Facebook dating.